Hey, we're going to have a build-off. It's going to be a lot of fun. Don't go away. Hey everybody, it's Paul from Fat Guy Productions, coming to you as always from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. And today, indeed, we are doing a build-off. It's going to be between myself and Wee Little Cars with Time Rider and Hodgs Hot Wheels and Diecast. And the topic of today's build-off is public safety, of course. So, the only rules we had were that your topic had to be public safety and the video had to be out today, the 12th. So, with no further ado, let's get to my vision of this public safety build-off. Yes, indeed, we are having a build-off. A build-off between myself, Wee Little Cars, and Hodgs Hot Wheels and Diecast. For my entry, I'm going to be doing the Hot Wheels Redline Fire Chief Cruiser. As you can see, this one is pretty beat up. The paint is shite. And there's a surprise in store for me that I didn't notice when I decided that this would be my car. And I'm going to show it to you here in just a second. As bad as this car looks, at first blush, I thought, no problem. Then I noticed this. This roof isn't just smooshed down. The whole roof is smooshed over to one side. Oh my goodness. I got to be honest. At this point, I'm thinking to myself, is this even repairable? The only thing it's got going for it is the fact that all the pillars are there. And so I don't expect that they're all going to survive the restoration, but we're going to give it a shot. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and use my shielded drilling to take this car apart. And let me tell you something. On Hot Wheels, this is to die for. This works so good. And not only does it work great for taking cars apart, if you have a damaged post, this can really save the day. These things work great. It's fantastic. You're going to get a beautiful center drill, and I can't rave about it enough. So I'm going to use shielded drilling, and I'm going to drill out the posts so I can get the car apart and see just exactly what I have done to myself here. Okay, with the posts apart, I can put a little screwdriver in and get that gratifying little pop as I snap the base off the body. And the base is fine, so we'll deal with that later. It's, it is what it is. We'll take a look at it. Springs are all there. That's really the important thing. But, it's not the worst base in the world. It's going to need some electro polishing. The interior, it's fine. Dirty. Wash it. Done. But, it really doesn't need much else. Here's where all the fun is happening. Clearly the glass is destroyed from the damage to the roof. So that's going to be garbage. We'll have to order a new piece. Here's the emergency light. Now the emergency light, I could probably save it, but I think this car is going to call for a new one, so I'll get one of those, and I'll just save this for something else. Now, here's where all the fun is happening with that roof. I just don't even know what to do with it. So here, stupidly, I'm thinking, I wonder if I can just push it to the side. Well, you can see my left hand, see how weird it looks? It looks sort of like a lobster claw. I heard it in the fire service and had to have it fixed, and so it's not really great, and that didn't work. So now I'm trying to roll the car on my mat where I have two hands pressed down on it, and it didn't budge. Even though this Z-Mac is actually a fairly soft metal, it's not that soft. Okay, so here I've thrown all caution to the wind, and I've trimmed down a dowel to fit in the windows, and I'm stuffing it in the windows, and I'm going to try and lever the roof back in place, hoping that I don't destroy the side of the car. And, on first effort, it moved, and no additional damage happened, so I'm just going to keep working at it and see if I can get this thing back in place this way. And breaking posts, the passenger side A post has already broken at the roof line. I I'm not going to get out of this alive, but, you know, at least if we can get it centered and back squared up to the car, maybe we've got a chance at this. So just a little bit of using it as a lever. And what's really saving me is the body line of this car, where the top of the doors kind of roll over. They make a pretty good solid support that doesn't want to bend very much, as opposed to the roof. And after a little bit of work with it, yeah, you can see I'm really, really close. So I'm actually pretty happy. And the only real giant casualty you can see is the B-post is gone. It fell out, and I've saved it, put it right here. See it? It's on top of my little jar of hot liquid goo. So I'm going to save that so I can try to put it back in. So we'll put it in with all the parts, and we'll get back to that in a minute here. With everything safely put away, especially that pillar, it's time for the warm liquid goo phase. Yeah, you've seen me do the brush, and you know I love seeing the stripper do its thing, but this is just so much easier, so we'll just drop it in here. After the paint's off, we'll take it, we'll wash it, and we'll scrub it down, and then we can go ahead and bring it back here and take a look at it and see exactly what we have to work with. The roof is actually back in line. I'm feeling pretty good about things there, and overall, the car body is a little bit better than I thought. Okay, so I'm going to try and get that pillar back in there. So I'm taking a little piece of blue tape and I'm putting it behind the windows to act as a backer so it doesn't keep falling out. And the added benefit of it being sticky helps keep the pillar in place. So I can kind of get it positioned, line it up carefully, and it's going to stay put until I get it glued in there nice and solid. Now to secure it permanently, we're going to put a little bit of super glue, cyanoacrylate, at both ends of the pillar, and then we're going to lock that in with a little bit of baking soda, and that should give us a pretty solid repair. And then all we got to do is dress that up and make it look original, and we should be good to go. The front right pillar broke at the roof line, and the left front pillar, I can't tell if it's broken or just thin. You know, it's really hard to tell, so I'm just kind of beefing it up with a little bit of super glue and baking soda just to be sure. And, you know, it just means a little more work on the body, but I've already got a ton to do anyhow, so what difference does it matter? All right, now that it's dry, I can go ahead and peel back the tape and check out my little handiwork here. And hopefully the pillar stays in place. And then it's just a matter of getting everything finished. So out come the files, and the trick here is to use a very light hand, especially on the one that was completely out, because even though the super glue and baking soda is a really strong repair, this is such a small piece that it's not going to take much to break it out of there. So you really have to use a very soft hand while you're doing this. And so we'll break out our file, we'll kind of get everything back into shape, and then we can go ahead and now hit it with a little bit of a sanding sponge, get rid of some of the scratches and scuffs, and just finalize everything, make sure it's looking right and ready to go. I don't need to protect the zinc or anything, so I don't need to have a light sanding hand, because I'm going to have to put primer on this car. So it's not going to matter what it is, as long as it's smooth and looks nice. So after the sanding, I did put some Tamiya fine primer on it, set it aside to dry, and now we can go over to the paint booth, and starting with my normal misting of the paint booth to help keep flying woolly boogers from attacking my beautiful paint job. What we're going to do is we're going to chrome the car using an old modeler's product, All Clad. So to get the chrome to come out right, we start with All Clad's gloss black base. And we'll apply that just like we put everything else on, starting with a tack coat, then a couple medium coats, and then a wet coat. What we're looking for is a really high shine gloss black base. And that's what's really going to bring our chrome finish to life here. So this is an important step. Don't skimp on it. Make sure you get it right. Okay, so here's what we're shooting for. Look how smooth and glossy that is. That's exactly what we wanted. And now we can go ahead and put the all-clad chrome finish down. This is very thin. Shake it really well. Make sure you get all the particles mixed up. Now the trick to this stuff is turn the pressure on your compressor way, way, way down. Very light touch on the airbrush, okay? Low pressure, light coats, okay? If you go too fast, too hard, you're going to blow right past chrome and end up with just silver. And that's not what we're after, folks. So we'll start with a very, very light mist. And then we'll just keep laying that on a little bit at a time. And once you get to what almost looks like a black chrome, that's when you're right at the doorstep. And now you need to just move with some very extreme amounts of caution, because you'll go right by it if you're not careful. So right here you can see I'm already near black chrome, and so I'm just going to lay a little bit more on, very, very lightly, super soft little touch, okay? And look how this is starting to chrome up. Now I know it's got like a little bit of a mottled look to it. Well, once it's dry, we can take a little microfiber cloth and very, very gently we can polish this surface up a little bit. This chrome is fragile. Don't be putting tape on it. Don't be doing anything crazy like that. It can't take it. But you need to get that little bit of a overspray mottled look off of it. And so just take microfiber cloth and very lightly polish the car up. And then here's what we're looking for. A nice chrome finish, okay? Almost like we had a good layer of zinc on there and we polished the car up. Okay, so now we're ready to put down the red paint. It's a Spectraflame Red by Brightvision. So we've mixed it up with a little bit of their hardener, and we're going to lay it on the way we normally lay on Spectraflame paint. Again with a tack coat, then a couple medium coats, and then wet coats to our desired depth. Now, once you get there, you can shoot past the color that you have in mind. Spectraflame, you have a lot of control. The lighter you put it on, you get one saturation and hue of the color. The more you put on, and it becomes more saturated and deeper. I want a deep red Fire Chief car, so I'm going to go pretty heavy towards the end here and put maybe 2 or 3 wet coats on it until I get what I'm looking for. Just remember, you have control, and if you're looking for a lighter color, you need to sneak up on it or you'll shoot right past it. Okay, so I'm right about where I want to be, and I'm laying this last wet coat down, and I think I'm happy with everything that I have going here. The paint is smooth and beautiful, and look how deep red that is. It's just wonderful. Okay, so we've set that aside to dry for a nice long amount of time. Haven't put clear coat on it yet because this car needs decals. A lot of you guys are afraid of decals. I'm a modeler, so I'm not afraid of them at all. Some of the tips and tricks are to trim as close to the decal image as possible. You don't want extra material you don't need. Dip it in lukewarm water and let it sit and soften. Then we rub a little bit of water where the decal's going. And now what I'm using here is Micro Set. And Micro Set is actually a product that will help the decal adhere to your car. So we put that down. Make sure it's all over. And right about now the decal should be soft enough that it should separate from its carrier. And I like to use a pair of decal tweezers that I got from Tamiya to hold everything. So I'll slide the decal to the side a little bit and then just grab the carrier with my tweezers, and now I can just kind of line things up, hold the decal down, and with my tweezers pull the carrier out. Now I've also found that a toothpick works really good for positioning these things. So keep a toothpick handy. It really can help you position your stuff. Alright, here I am. I'm just going to kind of sop up a little bit of the extra water and microset with a little Q-tip. Being very, very careful around the word fire department here. Making sure I don't have an issue. Now I'm using another product called Microsol. And Microsol, I don't really need it here. I'm more doing this for you guys than for anything. Microsol will soften the decal and allow it to take the form of whatever it's over. So if there was a seam there or a rivet or something like that, it would conform to that. The important part here is once you put the Microsol on it, you better not touch your decal until it's totally dry. It may start to wrinkle and look a little weird, but trust me, it's going to dry up and lay down flat, and if you touch it, you're going to ruin it. Just leave it alone. Okay, decals are all on the car. The car has set for a day to dry, and now I can break out my Brightvision clear coat, and I've added a healthy dose of hardener into this. And I'm going to lay this down like I always do with the clear coat, starting with the tack coat, then a couple medium coats, and then some heavy coats to get me that beautiful gloss finish. Now, while that's drying for several days, I can turn my attention to the brand new window I got from Second Chance Redlines. This window came, it was beautiful already, I was very happy with it, but I've found that Gauzy takes any glass, plastic glass for models, diecast cars, what have you, and just makes it look that much better. So we take it for a swim in the Gauzy. We'll put it down on a stick so it doesn't glue itself completely to the plate, and then we're going to just cover it up with something so it doesn't get dust and stuff landing on top of it, globs of spit or boogers or, dandruff, whatever. Okay, we put that to the side and let it dry, and now we can turn our attention to this base. And look at these tires. Holy cow. Tell me this car didn't get some play, right? Those tires are so rounded off. It's amazing. Somebody loved this car. All right. Side cutters. Cut those junk wheels away so I don't ruin the hubs, because right now I gotta be honest with you, these hubs are super bad, really loose. It is gonna cause me a problem in the finished product, but there's really not much else I can or plan to do with it. I'm just gonna live with them. So now the tires are off, I'll use my straightening tool and I'll kind of pre-align everything before I put the tires on, because it's just a little bit easier here, and it'll make it easier once the tires are on too. So I kind of pre-align everything, and once I'm happy, I can go ahead and start putting the tires on. I'm liking what I'm seeing, and while I was doing this, I had an idea. And so I'm going to test something out here. This car is supposed to have 4 medium wheels on it. I'm going to test out putting the little tiny drag wheels on the front and the big old fat deep dish mag wheels in the back and see if I can't make that work. So what I'm doing is something I hate to do. I'm putting wheels on that I may have to take back off. But I'm kind of just lightly pressing them onto the hubs, just very lightly, so they'll get on there, so that I can do a test fit of the body and see if these are going to work out. And if not, then I'll just switch back and put 4 mediums on. But I'm not going to tell you what happens here. We'll show you in a little bit. So now I'm turning my attention to the interior. Normally I just clean it and throw it back in the car, but today I thought this has a lot of detail in it. Let's do some painting. So I opted for, in addition to the cream interior, I'm going to put in a little deep charcoal for the center console and the dash and all that stuff. And then a little bit of black for like the steering wheel and some of the control knobs and stuff like that. And then a little bit of silver in the interior as well, just to really make things pop. And I'm really glad I did this, because this is going to be pretty visible
And in the end, it's really going to make a big difference. I'm really excited about this. Okay, so like I said, I probably could have saved the emergency light, but the I just felt like this needed new stuff, so I ordered a set of emergency lights. And yes, I am keeping the old one. I can work on it and have it for another vehicle. And we will go with the original blue here. So we're gonna pull the blue one out, put the red one to the side for a later project, and that's about the time I realized I can't put anything together yet because I need to do some painting on the roof first. So out comes the Multi-Chrome pen. I pumped a little of the ink out into a little cup, brought out a very, very fine brush, and did some of the roof details. Now I can go back and drop the emergency light in. Sometimes, you just gotta kind of be slapped in the face to figure out what order to do things, and fortunately the car did that for me and saved me before I got too deep into this. All right, so the emergency light's in, and the glass actually just kind of snaps into the interior, so it drops back into the car as one piece. The interior, the glass, the whole 9 yards. And it's looking really very good. I'm super excited about this. Now here's the part where I always kind of poop my pants a little bit, putting these bases on. I think you can see I might even be trembling. Okay, because, you put a lot of work and love into these paint jobs, and you don't want to screw them up right here. So we're going to get this base stuck back on here, line everything up, see how it all fits. Yeah, I had to touch it with my bare hand, but it fit great, and now we can go ahead and screw this sucker back together using our little button head screws, and man, this thing is looking sharp. Okay, ladies and germs, we are in the home stretch, and I am super cranked about this because it's looking so amazing. And I was talking to my wife about some of the plans I had, and she said, don't screw it up. And so I had to make sure I kept myself in check. Anyhow, use my little glove, wipe off some fingerprints, and now all it really just needed was a little bit of detail work with the tail lights. I put a little bit of white on the headlights, and then the can lights on either side of the main warning light on the roof, I put a little bit of blue in there, and really the car is done, and it looks amazing. So I guess, with no further ado, let's take a look at the finished product. Well, there you have it, my Fire Chief Cruiser, and I have to say, I am dead in love with this thing. Absolutely #1 with a bullet in my collection. I think it came out amazing, and I couldn't be happier with it. I really hope you guys enjoyed it and love it as much as I do.
Alright, there it is. My entry into the build-off, the Hot Wheels Redline Fire Chief Cruiser. And I'm not trying to be boastful, and I'm not comparing my work to anybody else's work. I'm comparing my work to my work, and I dare say this is the best restoration, custom, resto mod, whatever. It's the best work I've ever done. This thing is drop dead gorgeous. I love the way the wheels look. I love the little bits of extra details, and yet it still holds to the originality of the car. I'm thrilled to death with the way it came out, and I hope you loved it. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, click subscribe, click the bell, and you'll be notified anytime I release a new video. Leave any questions that you might have, make any comments. I love talking with you guys, and all of those things really mean the world to me and my channel, so I would be very grateful if you could do those things for me. Okay, this is Paul from Fat Guy Productions. I'm going to get out of here. Until next time, I hope you have an amazing, challenging kind of build-off type day. And until next time, be good.